because blowing up on Twitter is news that billionaire Elon Musk wants to buy Twitter for more than $40 billion. In a letter to the company's chairman, Musk says the platform needs to be transformed. In the past, he's been very critical of how they regulate what people say, so this has a lot of people really concerned now about the spread of misinformation. We've seen that before, misinformation. Oh, and hate speech. Seen a lot of that before. Let's react to this big news in the social media world.
You should be. I think people should be concerned because I think what's happening here is that the world's richest man, or one of the world's
I think he's the
richest
richest.
men, is going to buy or wants to buy Twitter. And he's doing it because he is adding to this myth that free speech is under attack. And it's not. In 2022, we are freer to speech wherever we want, whenever we want, at all times of day. Free speech is not under attack. What is being called out is consequence from your speech.
Yes! Yep.
And so something like this, where he calls himself a free speech absolutist, first of all, there's no such thing. You're either a free speech advocate or you're an absolute speech advocate. The two things are not the same. But the equivocation is that free speech means you can say whatever you want. And that is actually not the case. It has never been the case. And now with him buying it, yeah, maybe people will be able to say whatever they want and be free from consequence in saying what they want.
Saying
and
whatever
that's
they
damaging.
want, there will be consequences. There could be life and death consequences.
Correct.
Twitter is not, listen, I wouldn't say it's a perfect platform by any means, but I will say they did a lot in the last couple of years to slow things down. They had on a button where you could report tweets, especially dangerous tweets when it came to COVID and so on. So to say, like, this is misinformation. And they took the ultimate step in banning the president of the United States from the platform. Without those sort of things in place, you talk about consequences, it's life and death consequences.
Yeah. Someone once said freedom of speech does not mean that you can have freedom of reach. And I think that's also an important thing when it comes to like spreading, like you just because you can say whatever you want doesn't mean you also get to then have a platform where you project it out to who knows how many people. I hate Twitter, I'll be honest. I deleted it off my phone more recently. Actually, maybe about
Did you really?
Maybe about 6 months to a year ago. I can't remember exactly. I can still get in there, but it takes some effort, and mostly I find that I don't want to spend the effort on it. I think that it's lacking in nuance. There are some good people out there doing interesting things, kind of humorous, kind of clever sometimes, but for the most part, I think it brings out the worst in humanity, and it is incredibly divisive, and I'm just not sure how Elon Musk is going to fix that. I think he's going to make it worse. Derek on Facebook said, Elon's not wrong. It can truly be a poisonous place. It needs a major overhaul. But that's the thing. Like, is this the guy to do it?
And I think we're forgetting a big piece of the puzzle here. Is it only up to Elon? I'm pretty sure the government in the United States is watching this going, oh, really? You want to take it private? And you think that means if it's private, you can do whatever you want. That's not actually how life works. Certainly not how life works in the United States. So I don't know exactly what he thinks he can accomplish. Not that the government in the United States has had a good track record, though, managing these social media giants, because let's be honest, I think that horse was let out of the barn a long time ago. I think these social media companies have gotten so big, they are beyond reach for the government. When I was watching those, remember those, when Mark Zuckerberg was testifying before Congress, and then the whistleblower from Facebook, Frances Haugen, and she was making these bombshell revelations, and then you listen to the line of questioning that a lot of these officials were asking, and it was like, they just don't get it. They're at the starting line, and Facebook, Twitter, and the rest of them, they are light years. There is no hope, I think, that this government has got a shot if Elon takes it over. But I actually think this is not as much about Elon and Twitter as it is Elon and his ego. Because let's be honest, these billionaires, man, if you want to see a flex, there are historic rivalries between the world's richest men. And it's Elon's versus Jack Dorsey's versus Zuckerberg's versus Bezos. And I think that even if he doesn't end up taking it over, he has just thrown a grenade in the room for Twitter and said, Jack, Good luck.
A lot of people seem to be sort of suggesting that this isn't real. He's not going to be taking over Twitter. He even undervalued the stock I just saw on Twitter. Yeah. My God. But this is just him ruffling feathers and shaking things up. But I will say he did put out a poll saying, would you like an edit button on Twitter? And yes, I would.
Weren't they toying with that idea already with the Twitter subscription
but Elon
idea?
seemed to suggest that he would make it happen.
There's another guy who tried to start a social media platform. His name is Donald Trump.
Because he got banned from the other one.
Because he got banned from the other one. And I just want to say, Elon, it ain't going well for Truth Social by Trump, to the point that Trump himself is already backing up, going, ooh, maybe this is not a great idea. So it's not a home run that it's going to continue to go
Do you think
well.
there's any chance that Elon Musk will like take that $35-40 billion and just blow up Twitter? Like just like send it off to space? You don't think there's any chance to like do it for the good of humanity?
No.
No.
Not this.
No.
That's funny. A billionaire caring about the good of humanity. I don't. And I think that, taking it private is, as you're saying, it is, when you're talking about government, at the very least, a public company has to disclose publicly their banking statements, their financials, their operation. A private company, imagine the things that you can obfuscate. Imagine the lack of transparency. Imagine that you are private on Twitter, whatever activity, whatever people are fomenting unrest, whatever nefarious things happen on Twitter, and now it's private, and the government doesn't have as much leeway to interfere in the runnings of a private company. That's why, you want it to stay public, because at least legally, black and white, you can go in there and say, what's going on? Open it up.